Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Well, Dave, welcome back again.
Welcome back. We weren't expecting to talk today, but so much has happened. We kind of left everything at a cliff. And so we couldn't not go another week without talking about what happened with Spygate, right? Since the big hearing and the results and the appeal have all been resolved, and they actually, as of we're speaking right now, the championship finals have completed. So we will talk a little bit about that as well. So yes, it's
okay. So tell me, what do you want to tell me first?
So it's interesting. So we learned so much this week, right? So
we did.
When we last spoke, the Southampton hadn't fully responded to the claims. They were having the hearing about the spying issue. So we knew last week that Southampton had admitted to spying 3 times during the season. So it was the Middlesbrough 2 days before the first playoff match. But they had also spied against Oxford United back in December. And then they had spied against Ipswich Town in April. And so what I learned as I kind of was digging around a little bit, so the manager of the team, Tonda Eckert, he didn't join Southampton until November of 2025. So he joined mid-season as the manager.
And one of his first decisions was
to spy on Oxford Town in December. They, from mid-January through the end of the season, including the 2 playoff matches, they went on a 21 match streak where they did not lose a match, unbeaten for 21 matches. So when the allegations of the spying came out, the first response was, I didn't know that was against the rules.
Which I fundamentally reject. As a bare minimum requirement for gainful employment,
right?
Regardless of where you are, like the bare minimum is that you need to know the rules of that job.
Yes.
In that environment where you're like, I just totally reject this but as a premise.
Okay. So he came in from a European club in November. So in the EFL, he had worked for EFL clubs in the past. When he ordered the poor intern, Will Salt, who also did the spying back at Oxford United in
Which
December.
we also have more to speak about.
We'll come back to him.
Poor guy, but yeah.
When he was ordered to go do this, did no one on his staff or his squad say, hey, look, there's an EFL regulation against this?
But also, like, the guy said, I don't want to do it, right? And I can't imagine that it was just, oh, no thanks, rather not. Yes. You know, there must have been some conversation about, well, here's why, right? But then when you're put up against the wall between do this thing that you really don't want to do or do not have a job, that's a very tough spot to be in, right? So
I did a little searching, and there's been some good articles over the last week or so. So Tonda Eckert, back in 2019, 2020, he was on the staff of Bayern for the Bundesliga when Bayern was caught spying against another team.
Don't tell me that it was against the rules of the Bundesliga. Don't tell me.
They were fined for that.
No, excuse me. Every single person in Europe does it, and it is not against the rules. Excuse me. That is... You cannot write this. You cannot write this. Oh my gosh. Okay, but there's got to be more, right? You're going to tell me. I know.
Well, it's just so their response. So the team responded, and the team responded multiple times, and so they voluntarily offered up that they had done this 3 times instead of 1. Right?
Hadn't they first denied that they had done anything?
Yes, they first denied. Then they said he acted on his own, and then they admitted
that they forced him.
So then the hearing happened, and in the first round of the hearing, pretty much the EFL decided, this independent commission decided to kick them out of the finals. So they had already played the two the two playoff
Yeah.
matches. They had tied the first and they had won the second one. Part of what they said was that one of the multiple levels of responses was that, yes, we spied, but we didn't gain a competitive advantage because we didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And then came back and said, okay, we spied, we accept that we're guilty, but it's unfair of you to kick us out of the finals. You should just fine us $200,000 like you did Leeds back in 2019. And what you're really doing is you're fining us $200 million because that's how much we would make if we won the game.
So that was the thing. There was this whole like discussion over the last couple of weeks around
Right.
the fact that, 200 million pounds were at stake, that's essentially what you get, right? For going up into the Premier League. And was it him? You may not have heard this comment, but you may have. Was it him who said this is like giving a murder sentence for stealing a Mars bar?
I don't know if it was him or the owner of the club. It might have been the owner who had said that, but I did hear that.
But the
quote,
thing is,
yes.
like, so look, I live in Switzerland. I don't think we have Mars bars here. However, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that they cost slightly less than 200 million pounds.
Yes.
Right? Like, effectively, what you're trying to do is not steal a Mars bar. You're trying to steal 200 million pounds.
Right.
Like this, to use that as the logic, I fell on the floor when I read that. I just thought that's completely ridiculous and out of touch.
So we were all hyper focused on Tuesday and Wednesday as the hearing and the appeal took place, and our chat group was going crazy with all the back and forth.
Revelations
within minutes of the appeal being denied. Middlesbrough was able to put on sale their tickets for Wembley. This was Wednesday. They started selling tickets for Wembley almost
they sold
immediately,
out
Thursday,
all of it, didn't they?
And they sold their entire allocation. They actually brought more people today to the match than Hull City did. And Hull City knew they were coming and everything else. But didn't you hear something this morning where Hull City said that they actually felt that the result should have been to invalidate the playoffs and replay them with Middlesbrough versus Wrexham?
And Wrexham.
Yes.
So my question to you was, when was this poor guy deciding to stand next to a tree and film? And
it was
film
2 days
things?
2 days before the first playoff match.
Before the first match.
Yeah, so it was
just because I'm like thinking
there's a 72-hour
logistically.
window. There's a 72-hour window.
I
where
just
it's
didn't remember if
illegal.
it was before
Yeah.
the first or the second.
It was before the first, but it took them a whole week. So
Right. I mean,
from the
things
allegations
takes
coming
time.
out, the allegations came out, I believe, even before the match happened. But it took a
Mhm.
whole week for the hearing, and in that time
Yeah.
they played both matches. So, yeah.
And the thing is, just logistically, it couldn't have happened any other way.
Mm-mm.
Right? Like, you're working from a fixed date of this is the date that this playoff is happening at Wembley.
Right.
Wembley is like a huge venue that has
And-
a lot of different events. It's, I imagine, fully booked. It's not like they can say, oh yeah, actually Tuesday a week from now, we're totally fine.
We'll move Harry Styles.
Actually, it wouldn't
Don't
even
worry.
be on Tuesday, right?
We'll
It
move
would
Harry
be, it would
Styles
need to be on a week.
and-
Exactly. Like, this is huge sums of money with contracts
Right.
that are fixed. Now, if there were some weather issue, if there were some, I don't know, event that happened in the stadium in the middle of the match, could something have been done? Sure. But I'm also sure that that's like somehow written into contracts,
Right.
right? These like force majeure things. But like, the point is that you have to work from that fixed day. So you're not going to be able to make a decision in 2 days of a final decision. And if
Right.
you decide to delay, you have two other teams. Do they continue to play? Then you have sides where you have different amounts of rest
Right.
between the matches, between the last match of the season and the first match of the playoffs between the last playoff match and the Wembley match. Like there's too much logistically
Right.
going on to actually do it, because you wouldn't be able, I mean, it took it took more than a day to like go from the beginning of the hearing to the end of the result to the end of the appeal decision,
Right.
right? That whole thing took more than a day or 2 days. So
Yeah. I think the result is correct. I think that they made the right decision. So excluding them from the final was the right choice to
that
make.
part I agree. I
Yeah.
disagree with the points. I think it should have been 4 points per instance.
So when I actually read the whole EFL report because I'm a geek and that's what I do. And so the exclusion from the finals was the punishment for the spying on Middlesbrough.
Okay.
The 4 points was for the previous admission of the other 2 spying cases. So it was 2 points per each one that they admitted to in the past.
Not enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it
probably
should have been
not
at least
enough.
3, right? I mean, I think it should have at least been the difference. But okay, they didn't gain any competitive advantage. But
But
I think it should have at least been the 3 points that a team can win if you win a match,
yeah,
per
I would
instance.
agree with
So
that
if you want to
as well,
say
too.
Middlesbrough is that, I mean, I think it should have, okay, in that, under that logic, 6 points.
So, and I will say one thing that was in the report is that the report addressed why they did not give them a monetary fine. So they did not monetarily fine them because if that was the only punishment they had received was a fine, then teams would say, okay, I will break the rules and pay the penalty and still have the opportunity to move up to the
Yeah.
Premier League.
I'll include that in my budget.
I'll include that in my budget. And so this is setting the station of like, you cannot do this. You should not do this. And teams in the future need to look at this
Well,
case of this is the extreme example of what can happen to you if you do this. Yeah.
it's against the rules. Full stop.
But everyone
Not,
does it.
we'd like you not to do it. Not,
Right.
we suggest that you not do it. Like, we're
Right.
not talking to 3-year-olds who have no impulse control.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So there was
These are
one
rules with
Wrexham-
consequences.
So there was one Wrexham player who publicly was on the side of let's replay the playoffs.
Exactly. Our new favorite,
Our new favorite.
Josh
Well,
Windass.
he's been our favorite all season, but he's even more so now. When you get to episode 3 of the documentary, everybody, he is fully introduced to the world off the pitch, and it's wonderful to watch. So I can't wait for everybody to see that part. Yes. But so the finals did occur today. So Hull, who had
Yep.
always been planning, came in against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough continued training as soon as this happened, and so they never really stopped training while waiting for the results of this.
Mhm.
It was an interesting match. It was 85 degrees at Wembley today, so it was a very hot day. Very unusually hot for this time of year. Or
Yeah.
any time of
Hotter
year
than
in
it was
London.
here.
Yes. It's kind of a lackluster first half. Middlesbrough actually came out and dominated the first half, but there wasn't like excitement on either side. But boy,
Yeah.
when they ramped up to the extra time, this match ended up going 114 minutes, I believe, or 113 minutes. Didn't even go into extra time. It was just extension, and the ref just kept
Wow.
going. So Hull scored at the 4th minute of extra time, and it was Ollie
Yeah.
McBurney who was their leading scorer of the season with 17 goals,
One of
making
my
that
favorite
goal.
player names, I gotta say. It's a
Player
great
na-
name.
And he had just learned a few days ago that he did not make the call up to Scotland's World Cup team. And he was
Hmm.
fully expecting that. So this is sort of
Yeah.
like, I guess, his moment in the spotlight for this season. In exchange for that, but it was a beautiful goal. There was a moment of hesitation where it was is it an offside situation, and the commentator started talking about, do we pull out the VAR, and who knows what that would have done to the clock at that point if they did a VAR review.
Okay, we'll have to learn. Actually, we don't have to, because we're not in this situation next year. But I do believe that there is like a VAR control room, let's say.
Yes,
And
it's not
like
even at the
if
stadium. Yeah, it's somewhere
well,
far away. Yeah.
and if like it is being reviewed, right? And if
Mhm.
there is something that is like does need to be pushed to the pitch for the ref to review, like they
Yeah,
will do that,
they
right?
will call
So
out. There's a
so
VAR ref.
even if
Yeah,
VAR is not like even if you don't hear about it, even if they don't show it, even if they don't say that there's a review, I do think it's
they are
still
using
happening
it.
like in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah. It was an interesting match because, I mean, we've watched matches all season long where our major complaint for so many matches was the refs and the way that they were either calling too many fouls, not enough fouls, or just calling them against one side and not the other. And
Or
this
just
match,
literally never calling a foul for
so
Kiefer Moore being pulled down to the
right.
pitch. Yeah, yeah.
I turned to the guy sitting next to me because I went to the Cosm Immersive Dome to watch the match this morning. And we looked at each other and said, this ref has not called almost any fouls the entire match. It was just like, let it
Did
go.
it get
Let
really brutal in
it
that
wasn't
case? Because that can
brutal.
sometimes happen.
There was hints that it was going to turn brutal. There were a few takedowns that looked pretty painful, but there wasn't anything. It wasn't like a wildly physical
Okay.
match.
Yeah.
If anything, the match slowed down quite a bit in the second half because of the heat.
Okay.
And I think it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
people were exerted and tired.
Yeah.
But it was it was fun to watch. It was exciting. It was fun to feel like I would have preferred to have been at Wembley, and I would have
I
preferred
mean,
Wrexham
sure.
to be there too.
With cheering on Wrexham, yeah.
So another year that will happen. If not next year, soon after that. And we know that when it does happen, we will be there 100%. So
hmm
yeah. So any final Spygate moments, or can we put Spygate to bed for this year?
Well, I don't think we can put it to bed. I think it will continue to live on in our collective memories. um, I don't know. I cannot believe I'm like still wrapping my head around this. Joins in November, December, let's get it going. And this happened before. Like I now fully reject this. Oh, I didn't know. That's what a crock.
Yeah, yes.
What a bunch of bung.
Bunch of Bung. Is that the title of
And
the episode?
I even
Bunch of Bung.
love it. I even think like I was also reading the way they had done it, right? Like, you know, we saw the guy that was clearly there with
Mm.
his phone, that there was streaming, right? It was in a
Yes.
call. And so there wouldn't have been footage.
Video
And
or
so
footage. Yeah.
I was also thinking, did they go back through and realize that there was evidence somehow of these three? Obviously, one being a photo of
Mhm.
him there, but was there some type of evidence of the other two, and that's why they said, "Oh, we've done it 3 times."
That there must have been, because I mean, we kind of talked about this last week. Did they do that to us, and is that why they beat us 5-1? You know, they must have done it other times if it was this repetitive thing. That you don't just selectively pick 3 throughout the season and
You
start
don't just
spying.
come
Yeah.
in November and December say we're going to do it one time and then wait until April. Come on.
No, there
Come
must have been
on.
some other ways. I do have
This
to
is happening.
I do have to apologize to William Salt, the poor intern who was the one in the photo, because I did refer to him as an idiot last week. Not him, but the motions of how he was standing not quite behind the tree, and knowing that he had tried to get out of it. And he
Yeah.
did not feel it was morally right. And so I feel really bad for him, is that this is how he's starting his career. And
Yeah.
it's possible that the coach, the manager, will get banned from the EFL for a period of time. There's going to be an investigation by the EFL for
Okay.
this, or the
See,
Football
I told you that
Association.
we're not finished with this.
The football, but there's a chance that this intern may not be able to work again for a period of time in the EFL,
Yeah.
and that would be
Yeah.
unfortunate if that's something he was aspiring to make his way up through the ranks. And so I
Yeah.
do feel bad. I feel bad for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's a tough situation to be in. It's a really tough spot to be in.
Right.
To feel
And the
like
poor fan and the fans.
you want to advance,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, and the fans who had bought their tickets to the finals and bought their train tickets and had planned their
Well,
weekends.
The
you
fans
know.
who bought into being fans of the team,
Right. And the
right?
team
I mean,
that
the
had this
manager sets
amazing
the tone.
They had this
And I
amazing
think,
streak where they went
yeah,
from 15th or
no, yeah,
16th in December up until I think they ended up
yeah,
third or fourth. So yeah, they had a great run. You know,
they
yeah.
did. But, I think the manager sets the tone. I think this is true in any team, in any environment that you're in, right? Whoever the leader of your
Mhm.
group is. And I think when I don't know, I'm thinking about the no, no, we didn't do anything. No, no, he did it on his own, right? Like that really sets a tone. I think there's I don't know, it really just rubbed me the wrong way. Stand up, take the
Could you
responsibility for it.
could you
There's
ever
some
imagine?
integrity that
Yeah. Well, could you imagine Parky or Rob and Ryan coming out and saying this is unfair? I mean, none of those people that we've come to learn over the last 5 years
I don't
would
think any
act
of
in
them
this
would
way.
say, I don't think any of them would point to someone else knowing that they had actually forced them into
Mm,
doing it and say, no, no, but that wasn't me.
right.
That guy, rogue, did it on his own.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that as a scenario existing.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
Well, we will see
the
what
story
happens
is not
next.
finished.
The story is not finished, but we're
We don't know
finished.
when it will finish.
But we're
Just
finished
for
for the
right now.
moment. So I will see you in a few days in person, and we
Mhm.
will figure out another in-person episode that we're going to film that we'll share with everybody soon. And
I have an
yes,
idea. Another episode of Terrible Trivia. I call
okay.
it terrible trivia because I get everything wrong, but I have so much fun participating.
But you could ask me questions that I'll get wrong, and then it'll be even better.
Okay. I'll have to do some research.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But thank you, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word. That's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.